Hi, and welcome to another episode of Nursing Your Way to Wealth, where a mental health nurse and an accountant talk about wealth creation, personal development, and financial independence in the UK to help you live the life you deserve.
Hello, and welcome back. This is episode 84 of Nursing Your Way to Wealth. It'll be actually the last episode for 2025. Both Alex and I are going to have a gap, perhaps a week or two, maybe three, over Christmas, but do expect us to return in early January 2026. The theme for today's one is a little bit of reflection on the year, and some like gratitude practice, and we're going to talk about things that we are grateful for, both of us, for the previous year. I just thought of another one actually that's I can add to, so that's nice. But Alex, I'll pass to you. So welcome back. Had a little bit of a hiatus last week, but welcome back. And this return on heartbeats is yours for this week.
Yeah, hi Alex and hi everyone. Yeah, it's crazy how quick this year has gone. That this is going to be the last one for the year. But yeah, return on heartbeat. So I was away last week, so I went up to my parents. So they live up in Yorkshire near York, which was very nice. Went up to see them. Had worked from home whilst I was there, which was really handy. And then yeah, saw friends and family for dinners and stuff after work. So plenty of time with family, which was really nice. And yeah, got back yesterday incredibly tired after lots of socializing, but it was really pleasant. And yes, I definitely felt a lot of gratitude for seeing them and seeing everybody. Saw my little niece, which was very sweet to see her growing up. 'Cause I don't see her very often, but yeah, when you don't see somebody that often, you then really realize the difference every time, how fast they're growing. So that was really pleasant. So yeah, that was my return on heartbeats for the week.
Yeah, it's a lovely kind of time, isn't it? You kind of stop and think about what actually matters in life, going from working so much and then having some downtime with people you care about. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah, I definitely come back feeling a lot more relaxed and refreshed.
yeah, good. Um, you sound it actually, which is nice. Yeah, yeah. So in terms of like gratitude, I've like Alex and I, we've read a lot of finance books between us, probably verging on three figures of them now, over 100. And one of the ones I've been reading recently is Nick Majuli's Just Keep Buying, that was sent by Ben, who mentioned last week. Thanks for that. And he mentions gratitude quite a lot in the book. So it's kind of stemmed the idea from him for us to talk a little bit about what we're grateful for. So I'm still going through the book. I'm on page 118. Yeah, 118 of 274 pages. So I'm getting close to halfway. And Alex, I'll post it to you when I'm done. But in terms of feeling like gratitude, I think we're all victims of thinking about our own circumstance, our own kind of financial future, our ISA allowances, etc., our jobs, our salary, our upward mobility, and our progress. We think about it an awful lot. And I think we get sometimes so bogged down in the weeds or in the spreadsheet that we forget actually, A, how far we've come, and B, that there'll be loads of people that would switch positions with us in a heartbeat. So some of the problems that we talk about are nice problems to have. They're very much 21st century problems. So the theme for today's episode is just some gratitude around like those things, like where we've come from, some of the decisions we've made that have worked out. So Alex, do you want to go? Do you want to go first or me?
Yeah, I'm happy to go first. And I think it's an important point to like look back and reflect, take stock of where you come from. And I think my first thing for this year, so that is a huge objective that I got to this year, which was certainly within like the FI movement, which was so achieving Coast FI, so like Coast financial independence. So what that means is essentially if I wanted to just retire at a normal, the kind of the standard retirement age, which would be like 67, 68, and access my investments at that point, I would have enough to cover my retirement. And I can, in theory, not have to put another penny into my investment accounts or my pension from now. And that I think is definitely had, and that's not my plan. I'm continuing to invest as you are as well. But I think it's certainly had a bit of a shift in my mindset, knowing that actually I don't have to be putting anything away anymore. Like I've done all the heavy lifting, and I've got essentially 32 years of compounding that is going to happen in the background now. I don't have to touch anything, I don't have to look at anything. And I know that when I come to kind of my mid 60s and the standard path, I'm I don't have to be worrying up to that point. So I, in theory, could have a change job, just have something meet my expenses as they are without having to factor in the aggressive investing or doubling down on my pension contributions. And also miss out on that. If I would, like, the standard path seems to be don't do anything until you're in your mid 40s and then work like crazy to try and stuff as much money away as possible. I don't have that pressure. And that's a very nice feeling where, and so that for me was my big thing that I'm grateful for. One of my things this year for being grateful for.
Yeah, you kind of hear stories of it, don't you? You hear, like, if you read any kind of finance forum, etc., you'll see posts from people, often men, who are in their 40s, and they're like, I've not paid into a pension. What do I need to do to make sure I can retire by the time I'm 60? And it's like the answer is always put 2.5 grand a month into your pension. And you're like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you've essentially front loaded all of that work by being
Yes.
smart with your money. That must feel like a huge, not like a weight lifted off your shoulders, but a sense of certainty.
Yeah, definitely. And I think one, it's almost knowing that you're seeing the results of kind of what you've been preaching about for so long, but also it does feel actually like I'm not, like, if there's, it takes a lot of pressure off, certainly at like work and stuff. I don't take it as seriously. I'm still very professional and do a good job, but it's really not the be all and end all anymore, because it's just like, well, I'm kind of sorted now for my old age, and I'm still really young, and
Yeah.
in the context of that, and so it does just allow you to breathe a little bit easier, and also knowing that almost taking the opposite path to most people, that it's actually had a really good result. So yeah, there's a lot of feeling around it, because it's, I guess, my objective to continue on and keep building and keep growing my investments. Then I've not it's not had a life-changing effect yet, but it's certainly known that I have such a nice safety net now.
Mm.
Then that's very nice. That's a nice feeling. Like you almost don't have to worry.
No, and yeah, but what you can do now is that, well, you said you're still going to work and you're still going to invest, etc. What you can do is just bring that retirement date forwards.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so it's only getting closer. Yeah.
Yeah, the earlier you get to retire. I wonder ever if this is workoutable. I don't know if that's a word, but if say for example you invest then 50% of what you make, but every month that you work buys you a month off that official retirement date.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, just something like that. It's. I wonder if I'm there or getting close to it. I don't know. I haven't done the maths as well as you. Um, yeah, but it sounds like a lovely thing. It's actually a bit of a segue into my one because I've I've had a little bit of time off. I had 35 days off in between jobs. I planned to do loads of things, but my brain got in the way. I did quite a lot of procrastinating. So I do think, to some degree, people need to be occupied. They need to be doing something with their brains and their hands and their minds and their bodies. But it was just around like your kind of pension chat. The pension at my new job is not as good as I'd hoped. So I'm going to have to do some kind of smart money moves, salary sacrifice, etc., around that. But I've been very grateful this week and last week to have my new job. So I've come from obviously loads of NHS work, and it's really hard to get the stuff you need within the NHS. Like even basics of asking for simple like medical kit, just like borrow someone else's, get it from somewhere else. Some of us buy our own kit, which is all sorts of scandalous. But in my new job, they're just like, "What do you need?" And I said a couple of things, and oh, yeah, sure. And the next day, it arrived, and I was just like, "What is this? Who's making who? What wizardry is making this happen?" And it's like it's basics of like like a comfortable chair and a desk and a screen for working from home and a second screen in your office and like a stethoscope for listening to hearts and like a good up to date blood pressure kit with a big box of batteries. And all of these things within the NHS are much, much harder to do or get. And eventually you'll be given something that's come out of a drawer. Um, and it's totally different. It's totally different landscape working in the private kind of sector. We do NHS work as well, but just having access to things, it's very efficient and it's made my life a lot easier.
Yeah, I had never really thought about that, something like that, having to fight to get the basics. I think I've always worked in companies where it's without it, you're not very productive, and therefore they want you to have it.
Well, yeah, you would think. So in my old job for the NHS, my colleague and me, we used to share our blood pressure kit and all the cuffs. So she'd be like, "Do you need it this afternoon? I need it that morning." La da da da. And we'd end up passing in a hallway, and I'd be like, "Here's my stuff. Please let me have it back at the end of the day." And it's just absolute kind of basic things. Whereas now they're just like, "Yeah, have it, no problem. Like have whatever you want." And um, it's just unheard of from where I have come from, and I'm very much not used to it. The the job as well comes with a lot of other kind of benefits. I'll be able to work from home a bit more, so less commuting, and I've got a lot of prospects within this job as well, which I wouldn't have working somewhere else. So I've caught myself this last week or two thinking like, this is like, is this real? I've got a job that I actually enjoy doing with good prospects. I've got a salary increase as well, and they give me stuff to make my life easier. And I'm just like, pinch me, like, what is this?
Yeah, that's nice. That's yeah, a good thing to be grateful for. It sounds like it's a real game changer as well
Yeah,
for you and your wife as well. So that's yeah,
yeah, I feel very well, very grateful for it. Yeah, yeah. All right, I'll pass back to you.
yeah. My other thing of being grateful, just again related to kind of finance related, is there was a lot of turbulence this year in the markets. So I think, and if you think back to where Donald Trump was elected and all the Trump tariff turbulence, and I think that happened twice during the year where there's quite a lot of choppiness and big market declines. And recently the markets went down because of potential AI bubble. Is it not? Is it gonna crash everybody's portfolios? And there was a lot of that noise. But I think I mean, having kept on educating myself, trusting my experience, trusting my judgment, discussing it with you on the podcast and with our listeners, you know, I just held steady. There was plenty of times where it was easy to panic and potentially sell out, but kind of held the nerve, kept with it, didn't get too distracted by it. If anything, I bought more during the times where it went down. And and I think yeah, coming out of the year, when you kind of take a zoom out, making essentially a really good salary, my portfolio did that for me without me having to lift a finger. So I'm quite pleased with that result and the fact that I was disciplined enough and stoic enough to just continue and keep investing, keep up the um, kind of the rhythm and the method without getting too distracted by all of that noise and recognizing it for what it is. So I was pleased and very grateful for that. So yeah, that was my other bit.
Yeah, and I think it's like we see all this stuff all the time. There's noise about many things. I mean, in the last 5, 6 years, there's been huge things about COVID. There's been the tariffs. There's been like the Ukraine-Russian war. There's been China and the US battling over
Hmm.
all sorts of trades and stuff. We're feeling ramifications in the UK of coming out of the EU now,
Yes.
um, like on paper and etc. etc. There's always something in the world that will make investing seem scary, and it might make it seem a little bit like maybe I shouldn't do that. I'll wait out the difficult part. But actually, that is life. We're all humans on the planet, and it is going to happen like that. Not everyone's just going to perfectly get along. So, what you're doing by delaying those decisions is you're missing out on like the potential growth, and because you can't, like we're both advocates here that you can't time the market. It's really, really difficult. And there's loads of research to say that if you miss, for example, the best 10 investing days in the last couple of years or the last 10 years or something, you lose as much as like half of the gain. I'm not smart enough to figure that out. I don't think many people on the planet are smart enough to figure that out or lucky enough to figure that out. And you kind of have to guess twice, or not guess, but make decisions twice to be right. You have to make the selling decision right and the buying decision right. And the odds are just absolutely stacked against you, which is why Alex and I, we talk a lot about setting up your investments in the right way and getting on with life, just letting it churn in the background.
Yeah, couldn't said it better. I think that's it. There's always going to be turbulence, and you've just got to kind of ignore it. Think longer term, keep the discipline, don't get too worried. Because if you Google stock market crash, you'll never be an investor ever. Because it's always just about to happen.
No, it would never happen.
So, and the time in the market, yeah, is absolutely
Yeah.
just a futile exercise. So yeah, quite happy to have just plodded along and just stuck with it. Control what you can control, which is how much you can invest and your asset allocation. So where your stuff is invested, and we all know shares are volatile in the short term. But I think it's even over like any 10-year period that's happened over the last like 100 odd years, there's never been a losing 10-year rolling period when you've invested in shares. So it's very, but there's up years and there's down years, but over the long term, they have outperformed kind of any other investment.
Yeah, and just to add some extra kind of depth to that, I've gone through some numbers for my own kind of investment portfolio. So for my kind of gratitude thing, number two is just a bit of kind of flavour to our idea of letting it roll kind of in the background, being like committed and just continually investing every month. So the last year, so December-ish 2024 to December 2025, I've towards my actually this doesn't include my NHS pension, so these figures are maybe a little bit shy of where they should be. So into a private pension and into my ISA, I've contributed £14,338, and it's returned me the gain for that same time period is £9,707. So I've not had to work hard or at all to make that extra £9,000. It's just grown because I've invested some money over the year on a monthly basis, and it's kind of proof that actually the compounding works in the background.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive, isn't it? And considering that that's just been, yeah, working for you. It's like having another employee. It's like having an employee working for you, going out to earn a salary.
Yeah, almost an extra salary coming into our,
Yeah,
our household, because there's nothing like the numbers might sound impressive, but there's nothing impressive about like me doing it. I'm just a regular nurse working a job, investing some spare money every month, and I just leave it, and it gets on with itself. And at the end of the year, I've got an extra £9,000, £9,700 to play with,
yeah,
which is it's actually crazy when you think about it.
yeah. That is cool. I did a similar thing on mine, and I think yeah, my investment gain over the last 12 months was £52,000, which is like a solid salary.
Absolutely, it's more than I make. Well, it's more than I used to make. It's above the national average, isn't it, for England, the UK?
Yes, yeah, yeah,
So it literally is a third salary coming into your wife's household, or could be
yeah.
thought of like that. Um,
That's it.
except that person doesn't exist; they're not real. They're just your returns.
They're invisible. Yeah, it's everyone that works for all these other companies that we invest in.
Yeah,
Those are the people that are giving us the extra money.
yeah,
But it just shows like, and it's just through discipline and doing it for a long. Because I've been doing it for quite a long time, and it's building up. I'm starting to see it really, kind of see the benefits of it now.
yeah. Absolutely, it's just testament to like your an initial financial plan and b the diligence to set it up and continue with it, because there's been some sticky days in the markets,
Yeah, definitely.
especially looking at your portfolio during COVID.
Well, I was looking at March 2025, which was the whole Trump tariffs. In that month, it went down by £28,000.
Oh, that's a lot.
but that's still within. But overall in the year is still up by 52 because it's those recovery days that
Yeah,
you need to be in for, and then it's more than recovered.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and who predicted that the tariffs would A, appear out of thin air, and B, have such an impact on the markets? Like, if you'd sold out at that point, you'd have never recovered to making 52K
Yeah,
a year. No chance of that.
yeah,
That's crazy, isn't it? Thinking about it. But it's proof of concept. It does work.
it does, 100%,
Yeah.
and it just keep going with it.
Anything else you're grateful for the year?
I was just going to add the last one is the podcast because we're now on episode 84, which and we've been recording it kind of diligently throughout the year, trying to do it every week. I think there's a couple of weeks that have been missed, but we try our best to kind of do it as often as we can. And I think, having got to 84 episodes when, this started a couple of years ago as a kind of just an idea, I think is brilliant. And we've had some lovely feedback from loads of different people. And I think hopefully we're educating and helping people understand the kind of personal finance world, but also by sharing our stories and our experience, kind of put a bit more color onto that and see that what we are preaching does work and things are, where both of us are achieving huge milestones the more we give airtime to this. And I do feel there's something about talking about it, sharing it. It does seem to reward you in different ways. And yeah, for me, I'm really grateful for how this has gone. And yeah, 84 episodes, I think is brilliant.
It's a lot, isn't it? When you think back, and like we had that initial, like sent me that book. Like, if you hadn't sent me your book one day,
Yeah,
it wouldn't have happened. And we've actually, yeah, we've recorded 84 total episodes. I've just done a bit of maths. We've done 34 episodes this year, 2025,
yeah,
including this one. So it's not been every week because we've got lives. Things happen. Sometimes we go on holiday. Sometimes we're just not in a position to record. But actually, I would take 34 episodes over no episodes.
mm, yeah. And it's that thing of I think it does just kind of compound because we every kind of you log on every Tuesday or every Wednesday and we load something up and you just keep doing that and then suddenly there's a kind of catalogue um of episodes that we've got and there's a load of content
Mm,
and yeah, I think it shows the value of just persisting and being disciplined with it and what can come from it and having that bit of structure in place.
definitely. I think it would add, just adding as well to that, like when I hear about a new book or I read something that I find interesting, I'll often like make some notes about it and discuss it on an episode, or I'll ping you a quick message and be like, "Well, I've read this. This is really good. Let's talk about that." And I think for us to be able to discuss these things like in a live kind of recorded episode sense, we have to really understand it. So the level of financial knowledge I have now in December 2025 much better than last year. Um,
Yeah, agree completely.
because when I learn these things and I think about like picking up a new book or watching a YouTube video or something, I'm actually like, I this could benefit me and you and our listeners on this podcast. So I'm actually going to really pay attention to it. And I think it's meant that I've learned more and I've actively sought out to learn more through the years. So we get a benefit as well. And also as a like you as an accountability person is really helpful to me. So when I think about stuff, I'm like, what would Alex say if I ask him? And if I think he would say yes or no, that has a big impact on like some of the decisions that I make, so I don't end up like kicking myself.
Yeah, that's and I'm very similar. I think I'm always on the lookout for things that could be useful to a good talking point, whether that be immediately like finance related or whether it's like a behavioral thing, a psychological or lifestyle thing. I think it's helped having almost the forum of the podcast to bring those in. I'm definitely more astute. Similar, my financial knowledge has improved no end, and my confidence with like talking about personal finance and
Mm.
yeah, I think having you there, and I was like, oh, I'm going to be proud of telling him that, or am I going to worry about, yeah, if I spend 70 quid on a woolly hat, what would he think? But I think it does really help. So yeah, it's a really good kind of forcing function and mechanism that we've got in place. And I think, by the sounds of the feedback we get, it's also helpful for the listeners as well.
Yeah, I think so. And I think I've just got one other thing, or well, two things actually. Your Norwegian woolly hat that's kept you super warm in Poland is it's less than 0.15% of your investment returns per year. So I think you can allow yourself to
Yes.
have. And it will stay, keep your head warm for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That should last for a long time.
Yeah, exactly. But it's making decisions, but like thinking about them, not impulsive decisions, intentional
Yes.
decisions. Um, and that's kind of how you've got to kind of coast by as well. It's what can I do now to improve my future life?
Yep.
Um, yeah. The last thing I'm kind of grateful for is actually my wife's nephew. So her sister's had a baby called Rupert. He's lovely. He's going to be 2 in February next 2026. And what my wife's been doing for Christmas for him, you know, those cars that kids get and they sit in and they can kind of pedal with their feet.
Ah,
Um,
yes.
they're like little Tykes cars and they're very difficult for adults to try and fit in. I've tried.
Yes.
I literally, if I was going to get in, I could not get out. I'd have to cut it open. But we picked up an old one of these. Like they're very expensive to buy new. They're like 80, 90 quid. So what we did is we bought one from a family who didn't need it anymore. It was £20, and we spent a bit of time cleaning it. I removed all the stickers and stuff. Peanut butter oil is very good for getting rid of sticky residue. That and a hairdryer and a scraper, and she's painted it red, black, and white to simulate Super Mario, like in his go kart. And
Ah,
she's
clever.
bought a load of Super Mario stickers, like vinyl stickers for it. So we're finishing that at the weekend, and he's going to have it as a Christmas gift. But it's a lovely thing to be able to do, a privilege to be able to do something like that. But B, it's taken us a lot of work and a lot of like we put quite a lot of hours of it into it. And I think there's something there about sticking with something till it's complete if the reward is worth it.
Yeah. I think that's a good philosophy. I agree with that.
Yeah,
But the car sounds cool.
it is. It is. And when it's done, like finished, I'll take a photo of it. You can have a look at it, and we'll see if we can get Caspian to pop it below one of the episodes or something. But
Yeah, nice idea.
it could be amazing for him for a couple of years, and then go and be given to someone else. Um, yeah, I just remember I spent what felt like hours sitting on the floor with a hairdryer and a scraper trying to peel these old sort of weathered stickers off this car. Um, yeah, yeah. So I think I'm going to remember that into kind of the new year and into my job it's when things are not perhaps as rosy. Like, what's the end goal?
Mm,
The ultimate end goal is financial freedom and peace in
yes.
life, um, and what you're doing can get you towards that if you make intentional choices. Um, yeah, yeah. So that's it. That's my three things. My new job, nicer returns in this car that we've been putting together. Um, Combine that with yours being coast fi and continuing the path and us achieving 84 episodes. Um, yeah, I think it's a good, some good notes on gratitude.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a good year has been had.
Yeah, good time well spent.
Yeah, absolutely. Because on the theme of your nephew's car for Christmas presents, my reasonable or ridiculous is kind of related to that. If I don't know if you have anything else to
Mm-hmm.
talk to on the gratitude.
No, 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 not at all.
Yeah, so
Reasonable or ridiculous?
usually it's about spending a certain amount of money on a certain thing or something. Whereas this time, my reasonable or ridiculous relates to Christmas. And my bit of context, I've got some siblings. My wife's got siblings. We've got we're getting more and more nieces by the it seems new and every year. And is it reasonable or ridiculous to not buy Christmas presents anymore for siblings and instead just buy presents for nieces and nephews. So the what we try and do, so the reason behind it, we spoke to our siblings and we're like, look, it's no good you buying us presents and then we buy you presents. Why don't we just now focus on, we save our money and just spend the money on the kids. And then at any point during the year, if the children want something, we can then, if they need certain things, we're more than happy to pay for it. But like for the huge stress around the single day of Christmas, just giving something small to the nieces and nephews and not buying for siblings is what we do. And now, is that us being complete Scrooges, or is that very reasonable?
No, I don't think it's Scrooge related at all. I think there's a lot of pressure at Christmas and obligation. Um, I mean, coincidentally, my siblings and I, we used to do a very similar thing where we would just agree that we wouldn't buy each other gifts and we would only get for nieces or nephews. For some reason, this year that's gone out the window, and somebody's decided to go back to the old ways, and it's caused me quite a lot of like aggro, to be honest, or mostly my wife, not necessarily me. I kind of have this thing where I kind of find it almost too difficult to understand someone enough, something that they might like. Um, what time do you have to figure that out? I would much rather just give things to your nieces or nephew, and then buy them things throughout the year. Because actually, like, imagine one of your siblings buys you a hat, like a hat and gloves. You're going to be like, oh, great, I've got a hat. I've got a Norwegian hat. I don't need this
Yes.
extra thing. I think I'd rather divert all of that, and I might pitch this idea next year, just divert all of that money and time that would have been spent and invest it for the young kids over time. And then eventually, when they get to 18, 19,
Yes.
pool all of that money and resources and buy them a car and driving lessons, perhaps a year of insurance.
I think that's a really good idea. I always think that with like driving lessons, it's such a good thing to like do and be able to, to be able to learn to drive and to give them that helping hand is a very valuable life skill. And
Yeah,
and that's much better being able to do something like that and support rather than having had, 100 quid a year every year for the last 18
yeah,
years on random presents that you've forgotten about.
yeah, that you don't even have anymore,
Yeah.
or that's turned into future junk or something. I don't know, you buy them some Lego or something, or a castle or whatever. I don't know what you buy kids clearly, but like as a life altering thing in terms of a trajectory, having a car has changed my life massively.
Yes, ditto.
So much more able to get around, go places. Like imagine you getting to York from your house without a car. Take you 7 hours on a train, loads of stops, very expensive.
It would be horrendous. Having done that a few times before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you trade it in a heartbeat, wouldn't you? So what I would suggest it's probably a better way all around. Like get them something small for Christmas if they've got something to open. Um, Stick some of that money away, and if you give them say £100 a year, put 9 quid a year in an investment account for them, and then when they get to 19, 20, you can give them like 15 grand towards a
Yes.
car, lessons, and an insurance. Maybe you've got to start of a house deposit as well.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's kind of where our mind is at.
No, I don't think it's unreasonable. So I think your idea is entirely reasonable. Um, Possibly other people, listening people, might think differently. Um, who knows? But if you do, let us know. If you've got any other ideas of how we can adopt that kind of strategy, um, yeah, do email us in. It's nursingyourwaytowealth@gmail.com. There'll be a link below in the show notes of this too. Alex, I think that's episode 84 and the last one of 2025 done. Is there anything else you wanted to mention?
I was just going to say a big shout out to Caspian, who has been doing a great job in editing and getting these out there. And yeah, bit of an unsung hero in the background there, but big thanks to you, Caspian.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if Alex and I had an Employee of the Year award, it would 100% go to him.
It would 100%. It'd be in
Yeah.
a frame
Yeah, that's it.
on the wall. Yeah.
A nice gold frame.
That's it.
No, that's a really good idea, actually, Caspian. We do appreciate everything you do for us. Pretty much, it wouldn't happen without him, would it?
It couldn't.
No.
Absolutely. You make this happen. So big thanks.
Yeah, and as to you, I'm grateful for you turning up most weeks, and me turning up most weeks, having the commitment to do that, and for you having to deal with my random thoughts that I have in the middle of the day, and I'll WhatsApp them to you, and I'll be like, you don't need to reply, but here's
Yeah.
a small essay on things I'm thinking about.
But yeah, it all helps in getting content and different perspectives, and yeah, no, it's all brilliant, and I
Yeah,
think really pleased with the pod and how everything's going.
yeah. So our plan is to continue. We're going to have a bit of gap over Christmas. Yeah, and the last thing I'll say is, Alex, I have some gratitude to you as well for helping me build something like this. I find it really valuable. So happy Christmas to you and your family. And we'll chat over the time, but we'll see you back in 2026, January sometime, for episode 85. And then next year, we're 100% going to hit 100 episodes, aren't we, in 26?
We will, and yeah, absolutely. Likewise to you as well, Alex. It's without you and your discipline to get all this done, and your random thoughts wouldn't happen. So it's yeah, and yeah, I hope you have a good Christmas and a good break, and we'll be back in 2026.
None of what we discuss on the show is to be considered financial or health advice, and we recommend you always do your own research or consult an independent financial advisor or a doctor when making your financial or health decisions.